Hey folks, want to jump on here and shoot a quick podcast episode. This one's going to be on a founder's associate. Haven't covered that topic yet. Also, wanted to go into my inbox for a moment in case you were curious to what is going on. Pretty exciting stuff. There's a newsletter from Granton and it's called the Granton Grant Roundup. It's New South Wales edition, grants at granton.ie. I think you can sign up for it online, fortnight of 19 August 2026. And there's a number of things that are there. There's a grant opportunity. There is another grant opportunity, both in the millions. And then about a quick tip, attach a number to every claim, not just a description. And then it keeps going. Startup funding news, just a bit about there's a company called Firmus, and then there's some resources as well. Take a quick R&D quiz and you can check it out. And yeah, it's pretty interesting. Sent with Brevo, and you can unsubscribe. Some of the industries that are for the grants include, there is one on the business.gov.au, and it's for Australia's defense industry. There's a grant. They both go up to $1 million in funding if you're interested in starting a business in New South Wales. Yeah, there's SME Industrial Decarbonisation Fund. Just pretty interesting. Future Made in Australia Innovation Fund. There is in the May 2024 federal budget, the Australian government announced investment in the Future Made, in Australia Innovation Fund, the program administered by ARENA, that's capital A, capital O, capital E, capital N, capital A, will provide up to $1.5 billion in grant funding, focusing on renewable energy and low emission technologies, critical to Australia's renewable energy transition. So that's one newsletter that I sign up to in inbox. There's another one that I thought I'd mention from Blackbird. There was talk about what a pitch deck evaluation that they have. There's a high output founders library. There's the great CEO within. There's a pitch deck masterclass, pitch coaching session, Giants community, and you can register for a number of things. Load of updates on Notion. What else is going on? A bit from Whoop. I ordered a Whoop band again, just to keep an eye on my health while traveling a bit up the coast. Been in Byron Bay for a number of weeks now. Still here in Drifter, and it's great. Really enjoying it. Previously in the surf house, and yeah, maybe go further up north, not back to Sydney yet. I think the new international airport opens in October. International airport in Sydney. The Sydney airport, SYD, that's the official Sydney Kingsford Smith airport, but there is another one in the west. Just the Western International Airport for Sydney is the Western Sydney International Nancy Bird Walton Airport, USI, located in Lidenham and Badgerys Creek, about 44 kilometre west of the Sydney Central Business District, also known as the CBD. It opens for passenger flights on October 25, 2026, operating 24 hours a day with no curfew. So the amount of people going through Sydney is going to be, it's going to be a lot, which is good and it's exciting. So I may wait until, if I stay here, which I'd love to stay in Australia in 2027, I may go back to Sydney, or maybe earlier, maybe in 2027. Quick facts, official name, Western Sydney International Nancy Bird Walton Airport, WSI, opening date, October 25, 2026. Passenger operations, curfew, none, 24/7 operations for domestic, international, and cargo, which means there's going to be more flights going out of Australia as well, potential for overseas travel. Maybe go back to or go visit London or New York or Dubai, and maybe Bali as well. Exciting times. International airlines, Jetstar, Qantas, Singapore Airlines, and Air New Zealand. First flight Jetstar to the Gold Coast on October 25, 2026. Or even, won't go there because I haven't been to the Outback yet. So, transport and access road connected via the M12 motorway linking to the M7 and 4 and 5. Local bus routes connect the facility to major regional hubs like Penrith and Mount Durath. Rail, the Sydney Metro Western Sydney Airport rail link is planned for future completion. I think that's it. That's exciting. There's a lot going on. It's going to become Sydney already is a major city in the world, but it's going to probably become like a London or New York with a second airport at Gatwick and Heathrow, or the two airports in New York are JFK and LaGuardia. So yeah, and Newark. There's 3 airports in New York and airports in London. 2 airports in London. Yeah, there's mainly Heathrow and Gatwick as the 2 largest international hubs, and then you have 2 now in Sydney. So exciting times. Let's continue. What else in the inbox? Back and forth with a few people. Again, there's YC co-founder matching, which I've been having a look at. Some changes going on with Fluxium AI, which is exciting, and looking to pivot potentially into a new, still going with the startup in a new industry, which is, yeah. So wait and see how it goes. Also, there was a job opening for a co-founder and CTO on LinkedIn, which paused because I think it was a number of I think it was full, so it paused. Didn't put any advertising spend behind it. So we'll wait and see. Haven't managed to get back to the candidates yet, which is not a major issue because there's so many changes on Fluxium AI on the business side. So we'll wait and see how it goes. I don't want to bring a CTO on or a new co-founder until we have a bit more, maybe until there's a bit more certainty around the future of the startup. But we're still keeping it going, still going to be producing the podcast every week, and you can follow on the socials for Fluxium AI. Yeah, so let's continue. But yes, just to reiterate, the business is still going. Fluxium AI, it is registered in Sydney at the moment, so maybe looking for a new place to register the business, and we may keep it in Sydney, may keep it in Australia, and that's why I don't want to bring anyone on yet. So yeah, let's continue. By the way, so open to pre-seed funding. Yeah, so let's move into a founder associate in a sec. Is there anything else in the inbox that I need to cover? Trying to be open to, there's not too much. YouTube creators, Morning Brew, if you haven't signed up, it's great. It's mainly US focused though. It's another newsletter that I've been using for years, since 2019, I think, maybe even before that, maybe 2016, 2017. I think it started operating around then. That's really focused on business in the US. If you're listening from there, there's people all around the world tune in. So I think we're still in the top 10% of podcasts globally. I know I said top 4% yesterday, but we dropped a bit. So let me open it up. We're getting a founder associate now. Yeah, for those of you wondering where in Byron Bay, exactly in Drifter, Byron Bay. So at the moment, to the end of the month, it's pretty chill. Not going on. Oh, yeah, there's events and it's fun. So go to, I don't think I can get into Pod SEO on the podcast with Pod SEO dashboard. Oh, it's frustrating. I think still, last time I checked anyway, it was the top 10% of podcasts. You have to take my word for it. Let's just see if I can get in with this. I can't. No, it won't load. Anyway, things are going well. So you need to know this is 183 episodes. 182, I think was the last one. This will be 183. We're 11 minutes in. So let's jump into founder associate. If you haven't heard the term before, that's absolutely no problem. It's quite popular in the startup community, but I don't think it's used enough. So let's jump into things. Founder associate is this over on ChatGPT. A founder associate is essentially a right-hand person to a startup founder. They work across whatever the founder needs most. That'd be strategy, operations, fundraising, hiring, sales, research, partnerships, and special projects. And the source is LinkedIn. It's usually very broad / generalist, high autonomy, close exposure to the founder / CEO, common in early stage startups, a strong quote, founder apprenticeship, end quote, for someone who may want to start a company themselves. For example, a founder associate at an AI startup might spend one day researching competitors, another day helping prepare an investor deck, another recruiting an engineer, and another figuring out a new go-to-market strategy. There are also dedicated founder associate programs such as Food Labs / Atlantic, where participants rotate between startup building and investment work. Their recent cohorts reported a 10% went on to found their own companies and 15% moved into VC, which is venture capital, if you haven't heard of it before. A founder associate can be one of the most valuable early hires in a startup, particularly when the company is still pre-seed and the founder is wearing too many hats. What a founder associate actually does. Think of the role as founder associate, everything else that needs to get done. The associate sits very close to the founder and takes ownership of projects that don't nearly fit into one department. Typical responsibilities include area strategy, example, market research. Kind of went through this already. Competitor analysis, business models, fundraising, investor research, C/M, customer relationship management. If you haven't heard of the term before, we covered it in the podcast. Decks, data rooms, meeting preparation, operations, process, suppliers, systems, project management, Sales, lead generation, outreach, CRM, sales meetings, product, customer, research, testing, product requirements, hiring, finding candidates, screening, interview coordination, partnerships, researching and approaching potential partners, marketing, content, positioning, campaign, social media, founder support, preparing meetings, follow-ups, and prioritization, special projects, whatever becomes strategically important that week. Why startups hire them? At an early stage startup, you often don't get enough work to justify a dedicated head of sales, head of strategy, operations manager, etc. Instead, you hire someone extremely capable who can operate across all those areas. The ideal person is smart, plus highly organized, plus entrepreneurial, plus commercially minded, plus willing to do anything. They're not necessarily an executive. They're more like a high potential generalist operating directly alongside the founder. Founder associate versus chief of staff. They're similar, but usually sit at different stages. Founder associate, more junior, more execution, often 0 to 3 years experience, does hands-on work, learns directly from the founder. Chief of staff, more senior, more strategic, often 5+ years experience, coordinates leadership, owns majority strategic initiatives, acts as an extension of the founder. A founder associate can eventually become the chief of staff, founding executive, or founder themselves. The one big thing about a founder associate, they multiply the founder's effectiveness. A great founder associate doesn't just take the work off the founder's desk. They take ownership of important problems and turn the founder's vision into action. In an early stage startup, founder equals sets the direction, founder associate equals helps make it happen. The best ones eventually become trusted strategic partners, not assistants. And that's it. We're just on 15 minutes. Wanted to share. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and feel free to leave a review if you're over on Apple or Spotify, or subscribe if you're on YouTube. Thanks.